Right, I think we got the stream going. Hopefully everything's good here. All right, let's wait for some people to hop in. Wait for some people to pop in. Let me send out an alert to everybody. Live. Oh, wow. We got two people in here. We got For Reals Y'all, what's going on? We got Jeremy Kronberg, what's going on? Welcome, guys. Let's see, how can I don't know why the chat is. I guess that's better. Okay, that should be okay. I guess that works. Interesting. It doesn't show up on the YouTube channel when I do it. It only shows up on OBS. But hey, that's all we need. That's all we need. All right. Let's see. YouTube. Let me post a link for people to join. How's your day going For Reals, y'all? I think Jeremy and I fixed the whole issue last night with the audio. So I think I've got it set up so the audio will play. My computer was just kind of a mess. We had to really kind of start troubleshooting, doing some IT work. So let's see here. Let's add a link. Chat. Entering Teams now. Here. All right. Delivering a mattress. Wow, that's awesome. It's going well. I just finished translating the playthrough of Puffle Mail for the PC agency. Now I can watch and enjoy the story file. I hope someone can use what I did to make a mod. That's good. You're doing some good work there. I'm not familiar with that game at all. What exactly is Popful Mail? Explain that a little bit to me. I've never played that one. There we go. We're all set up. Delivering a mattress. Don't you need, isn't that like a two-person lift? Don't you have to have two people to do that? I mean, that's what I would think. Why isn't it showing? Hmm, refresh. Okay, there we go. I was trying to, it wouldn't let me see how many viewers I had, but now it does. So awesome. I got three people in here. For some reason this is not translating over to the YouTube Creator Studio. Not that I need it to, but it's kind of weird. It's never done that before. Oh, oh well. All right, let me try and get a little music on in the background and see what happens. I don't have a free YouTube account, so it's gonna play some ads, unfortunately. Let's see what we got. Let's do some. Hmm. Let me turn that down a little bit. Papa Mail is a PC action RPG. Oh, hold on. Definitely need to yeah, just a little bit here. There we go. So that's better in the sound. Papa Mail is a PC action RPG platform for the PC. I see it's the same, but it seems to see like that there. That's cool. Yeah, I'm not into a lot of RPGs, but that's awesome. So I did. Let me know if the music's too loud. If it's too loud, I'll turn it down just a little bit, but I want it to be heard at the same time. But I want you to also be able to hear me. So I was showing this off the other day, and this is Crash Team Racing I picked up. Came in the mail the other day. No, I haven't played anything cool yet, but I've got a lot of games on my list to play. Um, I want to try and set up to stream again, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So we'll see. This is a pretty clean copy of Crash Team Racing that I picked up to add to my collection. Same with this NFL Blitz. I didn't have this for Nintendo 64. I think I would like to try and get the complete set of N64. I think that is going to be my goal. A complete N64 set. I know those are some pretty expensive games for some of them. I know it's going to be tough to get the um, Sculptor's Cut because I'm not paying $1,000 for that. But we'll see. I think Nintendo 64 is probably what I have the most of, or maybe probably Super Nintendo is what I have the most of. Yeah, definitely Super Nintendo. But there's not a lot of games on the Nintendo 64. I think there's only 360 or something. So not a ton, but so we got 4 views. We had some other people come in here, I guess, but they didn't want to stick around. Just checking with you guys. The music and the video is all good. There's no lagging today. I pretty much reset my entire computer yesterday, so hard question. What's your favorite game for each console? Ooh, that's a cool question. I like that question. All right, let's go down a list here. NES. So, favorite game on NES? Super Mario Brothers 3. Definitely the best Mario game. One of the earliest games in my life I can remember spending a lot of time on is Super Mario Brothers 3. Um, Super Nintendo. Favorite game on Super Nintendo. Let's find it. Hang on. Turtles in Time. It's a really cool side scroller beat 'em up. I was really into the Turtles when I was younger as well. So that's definitely the number one game for Super Nintendo. Then we can move on and we can do Nintendo 64. Favorite game on Nintendo 64? GoldenEye. I mean, I think this is probably a lot of people's favorite game on Nintendo 64, but definitely mine as well. Just a really good multiplayer. A lot of memories of playing multiplayer, a lot of memories of playing one player and getting through that. I'll do Dreamcast next. I'm kind of just going in the order of my shelves here. So Dreamcast. Jet Grind Radio. That's my favorite Dreamcast game. Um, it's a different game if you've never played it. I know some people have never played it, but basically you're like rollerblading throughout the town, and you have these missions to do, and you can do graffiti and stuff, and it's pretty cool. It was definitely a new kind of game at the time when it came out, so that's definitely on the top there. Okay. And then next up we'll do PS1. So let me grab my PS1 here. So I think everyone's going to know the answer to this question for a favorite PS1 game, but here it is anyway. So Resident Evil. This is my favorite PS1 game. Um, Along with Resident Evil 2 and all the other Resident Evils. I always get confused when I hear Jet Grind Radio says Jet Set Radio. Yeah, Jet Grind Radio versus Jet Set Radio. I think that's based on the location. I think it changed names depending on the location. I think I'm trying to remember, but I do know what you're talking about. Yeah, they're different names. They're the same game essentially. And then that will take us to Sega Genesis. So my favorite Sega Genesis. This is one of my favorite Sega Genesis games of all time. North America's grind, everywhere else is set. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't know why they did that. It's interesting. The Comic Zone here, this is a complete in box. Very nice complete in box Comic Zone. Um, Very minty. So I just love the idea of this game that you got to play through as a comic book character and go from page to page. It was pretty cool. Yeah. Next, we got Sega Saturn. So of the Sega Saturn games I own, I didn't play a lot of them growing up. So Comic Zone is cool. Yeah, Comic Zone's classic. So I didn't play a lot of Sega Saturn games growing up, but of the ones I have, um, I do like this Batman game, Batman the arcade game, which is the most recent Sega Saturn game I picked up actually. So, all right. Next up, we got Sega CD. So my favorite Sega CD is probably not the same as a lot of people's favorite Sega CD. I feel like Sonic is pretty popular, but this here is Jurassic Park for Sega CD. I just have a lot of memories of this as a child playing Sega CD Jurassic Park because I really love Jurassic Park, and this whole point and click thing that you could do was just it was really cool. I never beat it. I need to go back and do that. Now we can move on. I'm not gonna do Game Gear. I don't really have a favorite Game Gear game. If I had to, well, I guess if I had to choose from one, I think the Lion King port of Game Gear is really good. I did love this game a lot growing up on all consoles, Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. So PS2, we'll go to next. PS2, one of my favorite games from PS2 of all time is Max Payne. So Max Payne was a game where you could have bullet time. It turned into a movie? The movie wasn't great. The game was pretty fun. The sequel wasn't that great. I didn't like the sequel, but I remember playing this and thinking it was so cool because it was one of the first times you could do bullet time, where you could slow things down and dodge bullets. So that was pretty cool. And then GameCube. Let's see, hold on. GameCube. In terms of GameCube, I would say one of my all-time favorite games that I own. I would say the Resident Evil series. I mean, I could say the Resident Evil series for every system almost because the Resident Evil series is pretty much on every system. But I would go, I would go with Metroid Prime. So again, it's another game I remember playing a lot when I was younger. Probably one of the few GameCube games that I've actually beaten. Um, definitely, definitely liked playing this. I didn't play the original Metroid growing up, but this is my first Metroid game. Oh yeah, I do have Smash Bros. Okay, so that takes care of that. Yeah, that's all. That's pretty much. I have a few Xbox games and Xbox One games or Xbox 360. I would say obviously Halo is up there on the list of favorite Xbox games, and then current Xbox One. Um, Man, I've really liked Split Fiction that I played. That's a pretty fun exclusive game, or well, not exclusive, but just exclusively where I've played it with Xbox. I love Metroid Prime, my favorite Metroid. Yeah, it was really fun. Prime was my first two. Yeah, I have the other ones. I just never I have um, I have Metroid here, but I never got into it. So maybe I'll have to play it. I have.
Your
Let's see.
favorite TV shows are on YouTube. Get Crunchyroll, AMC
Oh
Plus,
man,
Max, and more on YouTube.
I think I one in here. Here it is. I have Super Metroid. It's the player's choice, but the other one's like super expensive. So yeah, GBA Metroid and yeah, Super Metroid Force. Yeah, I never played the I never played the GBA versions. Again, I don't play any handhelds really, so I didn't I didn't realize that I had the player's choice for that. I'll have to get the non-player's choice one at some point and see what happens. So I realize I usually don't collect like greatest hits or player's choice games. Usually I just stick with like the black label or the normal ones. So most of the time that's what I do. Let's see. For some reason it doesn't transfer over and show up on my studio that I'm recording on the YouTube website, but um it's interesting. I don't if I go to my channel, interesting. Doesn't really show that I'm live, but we got three people in here, which is great. We got let's see how long we've been doing this for 20 minutes. That's good. 20 minutes, you know. Usually try to do these for about an hour. Most I've done is a little over 2 hours, but I think the longer you're here, the more often people will come in. Metroid Zero Mission is a remake of the first Metroid, and it feels like Super Metroid in a lot of ways. Is Metroid Zero Mission is that on Game Boy Advanced or I turned the music off, by the way, so if you don't hear the music, don't worry. It's just because I turned it off. So, yeah, there we go. It does say I'm live. Interesting. Yeah, I can't pull up like what happens if I click this? For some reason, I can't pull up the like studio on. Yeah, this is the one.
Usually there's like a studio and it'll tell me how many people are watching. It'll tell me all these things. Oh, what? Says my story didn't even upload. Interesting. Oh, there we go. Now I got it going. There we go. Oh, it's Michael the Gamer. What's up, man? Thanks for popping in. I just had a good question from For Reals, y'all. We went through and we talked about all my favorite games for each system that I own. So, so NES, we said Super Mario 3, Super Nintendo, I said Turtles in Time, Nintendo 64, I said GoldenEye, Dreamcast, I said Jet Set Radio or Jet Grind Radio, however you want to say it, wherever you're from. Um, and then PlayStation 1, I said Resident Evil 1 or Resident Evil 2. It's pretty much even there. Trying to think. Then Sega, I said Comics Zone. Dreamcast, or sorry, Sega Saturn. I said Batman Arcade. Sega CD was Jurassic Park. Um, and PS2 was Max Payne. Game Gear was Lion King. And GameCube was Metroid Prime, the first Metroid on GameCube. Did you get pranked today? No, no pranks for me. Did you get pranked at all? I did. You have to check my new post on Instagram. I don't want to say it's a prank, but it might be. You check it out and decide for yourself. So, let's see. Did my story finally post? Ah, it did. Okay. All right. We got 9 views. That's great. We've got three three viewers currently. So welcome everyone. Looks like it's me for reals, y'all, and Michael. So, what about you, Michael? Anything happened today? Any pranks? I feel like I saw a prank for GTA 6 that they said they were going to release a new trailer today. My Discord rickrolled me into thinking repo was free. It wasn't. Oh, what's repo? Wait, my Discord rickrolled me into thinking repo is free. It wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is. Maybe I'm just reading it wrong. I don't know. But 9 views and three viewers. So again, thanks guys for tuning in. Let's see. What about what about you guys? Like if I how about let's go through, let's name a system and you guys tell me what your favorite game is. So like I said, for NES, I went with Super Mario Brothers 3. So what about you guys? Do you guys have a favorite NES game? Um, maybe it's also Super Mario Brothers 3. Oh, Zero Mission was on GBA. Okay, cool. I just saw that. 9 views, three concurrent viewers. It's a horror game. Oh, horror game for what? For what console? I. It sounds like GameCube. Sounds like something that would be on GameCube. Oh, maybe it's on Switch. I bet it's on Switch. Yeah, it's probably on Switch. 9 views, three viewers currently. Again, thanks for tuning in. Feel free to ask any questions or if you want to see any games or have any game recommendations. Been going for about 25 minutes now. It's hard to do these lives because you don't have in the beginning you don't have really a lot of people, so you just have to talk to yourself, which makes it a little difficult. But I've never been good at talking to myself. I think Steam and all consoles. Okay, all right. I play a few games on Steam. Do you have a Steam account, Michael? Do you play what sort of games do you play on there? Obviously not Repo because it's not free. You would only play that if it's free, huh? Yeah, you have to be kind of careful on what people say today because it's April Fools, so there are a lot of people that are, especially in the gaming community, that are going to do something tricky. I think so far the only thing I've seen is the GTA 6 thing that said they said there was an announcement tomorrow, and that's probably April Fool's. Steam and all consoles. Yeah. Hmm. Well, like I said, feel free. Anybody in the chat, feel free to ask any questions. Ask to look at any games. Ask to make a recommendation if you want on any games. All that is great. I have Steam. I have a lot of board games. Monopoly Game of Life. Rayman, Dead by Day. Oh, okay. Dead by Daylight's fun. I stopped playing it because it just people got too good and it was very I don't know, I felt it was kind of repetitive after a while. It's really good if you have people to play it with, um, because you don't I don't know, I just feel like playing with people you don't know is not great. We could I know Jeremy Kronberg would play it with us. He's in here sometimes. He was in here a little bit ago, but we could all get that game and maybe we could find one or two more people and we could all play together. That'd be fun. That'd be fun for sure. I have Overwatch 2. I play Overwatch on the Xbox. Well, not anymore. I used to play it a lot, but I haven't played it in a while, so I'd have to re-download it, but I do own it, and I own it on the Xbox, which I think there's cross-play enabled for that game, so I think I'd still be able to play with you, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So, oh, there he is. There's Jeremy Kronberg said for sure. I assume that's in relation to all of us getting Dead by Daylight and playing it. Because those kind of games I like to play with people that there's more people you know. 'Cause like I said, playing with people you don't know just doesn't work very well. But yeah, that'd be cool. I'm sure it's not that expensive anymore. I know it's on Xbox for real cheap. I'm down to play some games with you guys. Sweet. That's awesome. I'll have to find another. I think what is it, Dead by Daylight 4 versus 1? Like is 5 people total? Or is it 3 versus 1, 4 total? I can't remember how many people are in that game at a time. I think it's 5. So we're gonna need like 2 more. Guys, make sure you like the live. There is a button, thumbs up to like it. That way, if we get enough likes, get more likes, we'll get more people in here. We can have some more cool conversations, talk about some cool stuff. So, yeah, I think probably doing these later in the evening is probably a better time when people are done with work and home. Probably the best time to do these to get enough people in here. But I appreciate you guys. You guys are the three that are kind of always in here. For reals, y'all is always in here. Michael the Gamer always in here. Jeremy Kronberg always in here. Appreciate you guys always being here. So keeps me from being lonely. Keeps me being motivated to keep doing these too. Because if I logged in and every time there was like 0 people, I'd be like, I don't know if I want to do this. Definitely takes time to get people into your streams though. And I think it's again all about what time you do it too. So, but we got 9 views, 3 concurrent viewers. So again, thanks for being in here, guys. Thanks for liking the stream. Be sure to share it, do whatever. How big is your Sega Genesis collection? Let me see if price charting tells me the answer to that question. Wait, hold on. How do I see my collection? There we go. I can just search. I don't think it gives me a number. Hold on, I can count real quick. Looks like I have 50 games on the Sega Genesis, and those are all complete in box. So 50 Sega Genesis games, but it looks like more because those games are so thick that they take up more space on the shelf, whereas like PS2 um, are a lot thinner. So you can get more of those on one shelf than you can Sega Genesis. I never owned a Sega Genesis, but I have a Super Nintendo. I had a Super Nintendo growing up, and I had a Sega Genesis as well. Sega Genesis is like the first console I remember really getting into games and really playing a lot of them. Come to think of it, that and PS1. I had a Sega Genesis and then a PS1. Wow, that's impressive. Yeah, I mean, I don't have like a huge collection. There's some people I have on my podcast that have, 4,000 games, over 1,000. I only have a total of 660 games the last time I checked, give or take. So, um, I also picked up recently a manual. I was looking for, I had posted on my Instagram recently about WrestleMania, the arcade game for Sega Genesis. I didn't have a manual for that one, but I just got that in the mail yesterday, actually, or today. No, it was today. Got that in the mail today and added that to the box. So now that's a complete in box game, which is nice. So, how many Super Nintendo games do you have, Michael? I think Super Nintendo is my most games I have because I have like two full shelves across, and then almost a third one. Plus, I have some games that I added in that don't have shelves either. So quite a few, quite a few Super Nintendo games, and quite a few PlayStation games as well. I would say I have about, on average, 40 to 50 games for each console except Dreamcast, Sega Saturn, Sega CD, and GameCube. Because, yeah, if that's 50 for Sega, I definitely have at least 50 for PS2. I would say I have about 50 for PlayStation 1. Probably not quite 50 for Nintendo 64. Definitely 50 for Super Nintendo. And probably not quite 50 for NES, but maybe close. So I've been doing this, let's see, April 1st, 3:11 p.m. So we've been doing this. Oh, the time's right there. 32 minutes. So we've been doing this for about 32 minutes now. So hopefully we get some more people in here. Probably trying to think if I don't think I'll do any more live streams the rest of the week. Going out of town. I might do one on Sunday, but I'm going out of town for the weekend, for Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday. I'll be back Saturday, so I may do one Saturday or Sunday night. I'm not sure, but I have a busy couple days at work for tomorrow and Thursday. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do one, but I may. Um, we got 9 views. We got 3 people in here right now, and we are going on a little over 30 minutes. So, like I said, the longer we do these, I think the more people that pop in. It's hard to get people to pop in right away when it starts. So, but we'll just kind of hang out and just see what happens. Let me make sure that this is synced. Probably. Oh, wow. Do you like yeah, so this is weird. If I look in the chat on OBS versus the chat in YouTube Studio, I didn't see your question about Pac-Man, but I do like Pac-Man. Pac-Man Adventures is one of my favorite games for Sega Genesis as well. That was just a real fun game. I have 60 GameCube games and a demo disc used in stores. Which demo disc is it for reals, y'all? I'm just curious. Which demo disc do you have? Because I have one too, and I want to know if it's the same one that we both have. And then Michael said he has about 20 SNES games. Okay. What's one of your favorites, Michael, on the SNES? Sorry for reals, y'all. I didn't, for some reason, the comment doesn't show up over on, yeah, it shows up on the YouTube Studio, but later than showing up here on the OBS. So I'm just going to keep the OBS chat open. 60 GameCube games is a lot. And 20 SNES games is a lot too. And especially if you have some of the good ones. There are definitely some good ones out there. I can make a really awesome collection. Super Mario World, that is a good one for sure. Mine is just over here. I don't want to mess with getting any more out because sometimes it's a pain to get them back in. But That is a classic game. I think that's probably one of my favorite Super Nintendo games as well. Super Mario Brothers 3 and Super Mario World are my favorite Mario games, period. And I'm not counting games that Mario appeared in. I mean ones that were part of the main Mario storyline. So, but the demo disc that I have for reals, y'all, I think I showed this the other day. I don't know if this is what you're talking about, like something similar to this, but I have the Resident Evil demo disc. Um, so this had a playable demo of Resident Evil 4, and then it also had videos for some of all the other like remakes like RE 0, 1, 2, 3, and Code Veronica. So it was pretty cool. It doesn't really have a manual or anything. It just has a little white disclaimer for health and safety precautions. But yeah, that's the one I have. 36 minutes. Seems like it's been longer than that. Make sure you guys like the live, share, follow, do all those things. Um, I enjoy having good conversations with you guys about video games. It's fun. I have is the first demo disc we got in Europe for GameCube kiosk. Demos for Rogue Squadron, Luigi's Mansion, Wave Okay, so it's a European exclusive. Okay, that'd be cool. I don't know if they made any demos like that here in the US. I don't have any. The only other sort of demo disc I know about is for Mario Kart. There's a version of Mario Kart, and shout out to DK's Retro Closet, who was on the show. I didn't know about this. If you watch his episode, he has a copy of Mario Kart for GameCube, Double Dash, and it's the game, but it's also has a demo inside with some different games on it. So it's two discs, and I didn't know that existed until I talked to him. So you learn something new every day, I guess, huh? So what are some games that you guys would recommend? Maybe games that I don't have. If I have them, I'll let you know. But are there any games that you would recommend as really for the consoles that I collect, games to get and play? Are there people that you want to see on the podcast that you know of? Um, like someone that maybe you follow or someone you've seen has a really cool collection that you think I should try and get on the show. So I'm all about, reaching out to whoever's out there. Or maybe you want to see more streaming. See me stream some more live games, which again, I really need to get a better setup for that and start doing that again. I just don't have a great setup for it. I am planning to do, and I do have two participants for this now, so hopefully it'll be fun. And that's yesterday we kind of spent most of the stream. I actually deleted the stream off of the um, my page just because it was kind of useless. But it was basically just troubleshooting, trying to get it so that I could get music to play at the same time as being um, streaming. So hopefully I've got that all figured out and we'll be able to get that to work. So I don't know if I'll be able to do it live. We'll see. But hopefully I will be. But what I want to do is I have two people that have volunteered to do this and myself. So there'll be three of us on the stream. We're going to do some video game music trivia where one person will guess, um, or they'll both guess at the same time, and we'll keep track of points and see who wins and gets the most correct answers. Let me ask this first. What's your favorite game console? Just so I have an idea of what to recommend. I mean, favorite game console. If I own a console, I love it. So like NES, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation, Dreamcast, Sega CD, Sega Saturn, PS2, GameCube. Those are all up there. I would say my favorite ones of those are Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, Sega CD. Um, PS2 has some decent titles. I love the idea of game music trivia. Yeah, And that's why yesterday I was trying to set it up to make sure I could do it as a live stream. So again, I don't know how that's going to work. I still have to get some bugs out of it, but I do have two people that are willing to do that and go and come come on the show. I use Riverside to record my podcasts, and I know that you can get on Riverside, you can have um, multiple people in the room with you at the same time. I just don't know if I can do that on YouTube, if I can have multiple people invited into the show. So I'll have to look into it, but I might have to record on Riverside. But I think Riverside can also link with my YouTube account and it can stream live, but we'll see. Any of the Harry Potter games? I have only played the newest one, Hogwarts Legacy, and I made it to the final boss. I didn't beat it because I don't think I did enough side quests, so my character wasn't powerful enough to beat the final boss. So I just kind of gave up. That's the only Harry Potter game I have played. I know there's one on PlayStation, like the Sorcerer's Stone. I don't know a bunch of the other games, the Harry Potter games, but I do like Harry Potter. We got three viewers still, and we're at 40 minutes. So hopefully we're getting to a point maybe where people will start trickling in. It's almost 5 o'clock on the East Coast, so I think people will hopefully trickle in and hang out as they get off work or as they get home or maybe on their drive home they'll tune in and listen. So we'll see. I also do my podcasts and put them on Spotify. I don't really advertise that a lot. I don't know if any people know that, but I I advertise a lot for YouTube. YouTube is a good platform that helps me keep track of how many views I get and stuff like that. Um, Spotify I use as well. There's also video on there, which I didn't know you could upload video on Spotify, but I think that's easier for people who want to just listen and don't really want to watch and have Spotify accounts. Because the other thing, at least for my phone, YouTube, if you watch a video on YouTube and you um, like hit the shut the screen off or whatever, the standby mode on your phone, you lose the audio. So on Spotify, you can play, look at other apps and things like that while you're on your phone, as long as um, you can still listen. You have Apple Music. Yeah, I thought about putting it on Apple Music as well. I personally don't have an Apple Music account, so I don't know how to go about doing that, but I would assume I probably need an account. But I can look into doing it. I thought about putting it on Apple Music, but it's just on Spotify and YouTube right now. And for me, like YouTube is the most creator friendly and easiest one to put together on. A good game, Roller Coaster Tycoon. I have heard of that. Yeah, I never really got into those kind of games like The Sims where you build your own house and everything. Roller Coaster Tycoon is kind of fun. My favorite one I've played is a Jurassic Park one, and that one was a lot of fun. You kind of build your own Jurassic Park, and then you have to start with some smaller dinosaurs and then build your way up to getting bigger dinosaurs, and then they can escape or things can break down. You have to build like concession stands and stuff too. So those games just always seemed like a ton of work. Like you really have to invest a lot of time into those games. That's why I didn't really like them. I love Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 so much, such a vibe. I've seen videos of people where they just make these insane roller coasters and people get on the roller coaster and it does not go well. Um, and I mean they do that on purpose, but no, it's definitely a cool game. But I just never got into those things. I think that's on PlayStation, right? Is that on PlayStation, PlayStation 2? I don't ever recall seeing it on like GameCube or anything else. So just gonna mess around with some stuff here. Okay. Roller Coaster Tycoon. Yeah. I feel like they make a lot of those kind of games. Like there's the roller coaster one, there's Sims, obviously. There's there's the Jurassic Park one. Trying to think what else is there. I'm sure there's a bunch other. I mean, you could even say something like Animal Crossing is kind of similar to that because you're building a like a little town essentially. I wish they would have one where you can maybe build just like a. I think there is one where you build like a city, like a huge city, and you have resources to go after. I think it's on PlayStation, maybe Xbox. Yeah, I think it's probably on both PlayStation and Xbox. Games like that usually are. We got 4 concurrent viewers right now. We got 2 likes, guys. Make sure you like the live. Make sure you share, follow, do all those things. Um, the more people we have in here, the cooler the conversations are. Um, so sometimes it's hard to have conversation with just 1 or 2 people, but the more people we get in here, the more fun we'll have. So, and this is a complete open platform. I'm open to people asking questions, open to people recommending games, whatever. Once I get my new place, I'll have a dedicated game room. This is going to be several months away, but I'll have a dedicated game room, and I'm gonna kind of set it up very nicely. And I'll do some tours of the game room too, which hopefully will be fun. But that's probably looking at maybe 4 or 5 months away or so, maybe 6. Just depends when I get everything situated there. So definitely pretty excited about that, not having to have the same small area to play in. So, have you played Cuphead? It's so fun but difficult. I've played it for a little bit. It definitely is a hard game, especially I think it's co-op, right? So if you play with the second person, you both have to be good. I think it's even harder when you play with 2 people, but I have played it very briefly and I did like it, but yeah, it is very difficult. Like you said, I played it on Xbox. Any genre you wish you like but don't, shmups is one for me. So I never the shmups term is one I never knew for the longest time. I never heard of that, but um, shoot 'em ups, yeah. So I do like shoot 'em ups. Genre you wish you liked but don't. I don't know if I wish I liked it just because they seem really time consuming, but RPGs, I never got into RPGs because they just seem too time consuming and too complicated. And I like games where you don't have that it sounds bad, but you don't have that much freedom in like your character. Like everyone has the same character and you start, and go through the game and progress the same. I feel like when there's that many choices on, oh, I get a stat point and should I give it to my strength or my wisdom or my magic? Like I just feel like I try to make things even, and that's just my like OCD, I guess. So it doesn't really work well for me on RPGs. Another one would be maybe handhelds, if you consider that a genre, just because I think handhelds are fun because there's some pretty cool games where you don't have to be hooked up to a computer to play it or a television. But I just have to limit myself, otherwise I'll go into a spending frenzy and buy way too much. So yeah, it's co-op. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought for Cuphead. And the only RPGs I like are Paper Mario. Yeah, Paper Mario was a good one. That was a good RPG. I liked Elden Ring. Um, some people may not consider that like an RPG. I don't know, but I liked Elden Ring. I did not like the Souls games. I played the first one, just way too hard. Um, and then I don't think I've really I tried was it Super Mario RPG or something like that? I tried to play that game. I just didn't I don't know. I didn't really get into that one either. Speaking of Mario games, Michael the Gamer, I know you're a big Mario guy. Have you ever played Mario is Missing on Super Nintendo? I want to know what you think of Mario is Missing because I have my opinions on that game, but I want to know yours first. 50 minutes on the stream here, just chatting, chilling, talking about retro gaming. We got 3 viewers. We got 9 total views though. So if you pop in, make sure you say hi. Make sure you reach out. Feel free to ask any questions or discuss any topics that are on your mind. We don't bite here. For reals, y'all. Michael the Gamer. They're always in here. Appreciate them for being around. Never played Mario is Missing. Yes, it's like a learning game, not what I expected to be. What do you mean by learning game? Because like it teaches you like stuff like it's for little kids, or you have to like learn how to play it to be good at it. Because I played it for like maybe 20 minutes and I couldn't get past the first like maybe first little area. I did not like it. It just didn't jive well with me. I got it because it's like a learning game. Oh, I do own Mario's Missing. Oh, learning game. Oh, you're not talking about Mario's Missing. Now you're talking about Mario's Missing. What do you think of Mario's Missing? I mean, I think I own it. Do I own it? I want to say I own Mario's Missing. Yes. I do own Mario is Missing. So, what's your thoughts on this game, Michael? Because I did not like it. I played it very, like I said, very briefly, and it just wasn't a fun game to me. I just couldn't really understand it. I really couldn't get through the first little part of it. So let me know, and anyone else too can anyone else can chime in for sure. What you think of Mario is Missing? I'm curious what other people think. Mario is Missing. See, I never really liked some of the weird Mario games. Like I don't like Sunshine, or I wasn't huge into Super Mario or Mario 64 for Nintendo 64. Um, like some of those newer ones too, I haven't really liked. You go on Quest and learn about history. I just couldn't get into it. Ah, so you learn about history. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I couldn't get into it either, but I never made it that far enough to even know that. I just played it very briefly and decided it wasn't for me. So definitely some interesting and weird Mario games. And Michael the Gamer and he's actually been on my podcast. And if you're interested in learning about some of those or just seeing some cool Mario stuff, make sure to hop on and see that episode. It's probably a few episodes back now. I think it's two episodes back now. Tomorrow we have another episode coming out. Um, Actually, it might be one. I think it might have been the episode I did last week. Might be the most recent one that's up. But tomorrow, I'm going to release a new episode. It's Wednesday. So tomorrow's episode is going to be with Super Tendo. He's a big Zelda guy. He's got a lot of Zelda stuff. So definitely have some cool things um, to show off. He's got a lot of cool Zelda um, stuff in his room. Talk about games. We'll talk about the storyline and history of Zelda. So very, very cool. It was a very good learning experience because I don't know a lot about Zelda. Ocarina and Majora's Mask are the only two I've really played, but um, should be a good episode. I do want to say that I know ahead of time there's some video edit issues with it. Unfortunately, when it zooms in to just show him talking, it kind of just shows from his chin down or his chest a little bit just because of the way the camera was situated and how far back he was. So I know that is a problem, but I tried to fix it and couldn't, and the AI kind of just left it that way. So I apologize in advance. Still learning, still figuring out how to use the video editing software. Like I said, I rely on the AI to do that a lot. So I put a lot of faith in that. And sometimes that does not go well. You guys got any games you're currently playing right now? Anything that you're working through? It's okay, you're still learning. Exactly. Yeah, no, I'm still learning how to use it, how to do it. Eventually, I'd like to get some sort of intro made, like animated intro or something to put at the beginning of all my videos, and then maybe have little segments too, because I sometimes do like a rapid fire questions part where I just ask people what their favorite game is, what their least favorite game is, console, that kind of stuff. And so I'd like to have some sort of intro for that. So I need to find someone that's creative enough and can make those, and I can put those in front of each video. I don't know if I know anybody currently, but I know I could probably learn to do it myself, but that would take a lot of time. So if you're watching and you can do that, let me know. I'm playing through Mario and Luigi Brothership. I have heard about that one. I haven't played it yet. Actually, I played it very briefly. Yeah, I played like a level or two at one of my friends' houses, but it was it was fun. It was fun. It was probably one of the better Mario games. Playing Rise of Ronin, it's like an open world. Oh, that sounds fun. Samurai hack and slash game. Somewhat story heavy. Really enjoyed so far. I love the setting. Feudal Japan is so cool to me. Playing on PC, awesome. That sounds like a fun game. Um, have you played uh, Black Myth Wukong? That sounds like a similar game. It sounds like a game you might like. I haven't played it. I was waiting for it to come to consoles, but then I realized that I read online that it won't ever come to Xbox because the Xbox isn't, believe it or not, isn't powerful enough to play it. So, greetings, Ghetto Finger Gaming. How's it going? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you being in here. I really like the Mario and Luigi games. Yeah, Mario and Luigi games are pretty good. Luigi just gets a lot of hate. I mean, like Paper Mario, for instance, he's barely even in the game. I have not, but it looks so cool. Yeah, yeah, definitely check it out. So, Ghetto Finger Gaming, what's going on? How are you doing? Welcome. Thank you for coming in. Make sure good hearing you. We're good. We're just chatting about video games. We've talked about what my favorite game was for every console. We talked a little bit about some of the like roller coaster tycoon games. We're just kind of talking about what we're playing, what we like to play. Feel free to ask any questions. Feel free to ask to see any games or recommend games to me. We're just here to chat and chill, talk about video games. If you are interested in learning more about retro game collecting and seeing some cool stuff, make sure you make sure you follow my channel. I do podcasts once a week, um, and then I interview collectors from all over the world. So, hoping to just learn and just spread some knowledge about the community. So, hope you can watch. Um, make sure you like, make sure you follow, subscribe. I also have an Instagram where I show off my games. That's the same handle, Dr. Gamer Retro, and then I also have a TikTok where I post some memes and some clips from some of my podcasts. So subscribed. Awesome. Thank you. Relaxing for a bit. Back to my Amiga 500 project. Railroad Tycoon was loads of fun. Yeah, we were talking about all those kind of games like Railroad Tycoon. And there's the Jurassic Park one where you make your own dinosaur park, which I thought was pretty cool. That was a really cool idea. They're just very time consuming. Amiga 500. What is Amiga 500? Again, I'm learning a lot about games because I don't pretend that I know everything. But I think Amiga 500 is that a game? Why do I think that's a game? I may be confused with something else. Ghetto Finger Gaming is a cool name, by the way. Kind of sounds like Goldfinger, like a James Bond thing. Late 80s and 90s PC. Okay, okay, awesome. So do you play a lot of older electronics, older games, things like that, or I've never heard of the Amiga 500. So when you say project, are you working on like repairing one? Are you just playing some games with it? What's the plan with the Amiga 500? All right, we're about an hour in too, and we got 5 current viewers. So welcome everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to ask us any games, ask any questions you want. We're here to just talk about retro games. I appreciate everybody being in here. It's an open forum to talk about whatever you want video game related, or if you want to see any of my collection, or like I said, ask questions. Make sure you like the live. That helps to get more people in here. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see the podcast about um, retro game collectors from all over the world. I do a new episode every week. Michael the Gamer, I think, is still in here. He is on one of the episodes. It's all about Mario games. Just setting up a modern tournament to call out over Telnet to some old BBSs. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea what that means, but it sounds really complicated, and I'm glad that you know how to do it. I've never been good at any of that kind of stuff, like the electronics and fixing. There's a guy that's been on the show, video game. I'm still here. All right, yeah, Michael's still here. Great. There's a guy that's been on the show who is video game restoration. He has he fixes consoles and games and does it for free. So shout out to Video Game Restoration. He's a really cool guy. Um, so in doing this show and this podcast, luckily I've found some people that I can contact if I need help or if I have questions or need anything. So it's a really fun community. So are are you into any modern games? Ghetto Finger Gaming? Is there anything you played recently? Something newer or guys, we're up to 6 concurrent viewers. That's great. I happy to have everybody here. Um, again, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you guys like the live. We're at 2 likes. If we get to 20 likes, I'll buy everyone pizza. I'll send you all pizza wherever you live. And it'll be Pizza Hut stuffed crust, which is, in my opinion, the best pizza. But I think the most likes I've had is 7 or 8. So let's try and get up to 20. That would really make my day. We're at 2 right now, which means some of you haven't liked, but that's cool. That's cool. Older stuff from NES to Dreamcast. Okay. What's your favorite game of all time? Ghetto Finger. Do you have a favorite for reals, y'all? Favorite game franchise? Any second favorite? Second favorite. I've never really thought about my second favorite. No one's ever asked it. But Sonic is yours? Yeah, Sonic's pretty good. Um, does Ninja Turtles count? It's not really a series because like the games don't like connect to each other, but there are several games. So if that counts, I would say the Ninja Turtles games. The one on Nintendo, obviously the first one is really difficult. The second one on Nintendo is really fun. Um, and then the um, Turtles in Time, really fun as well. Then there's some newer ones even that have come out on newer consoles, and all those are really fun. The Shredder's Revenge, as you can see, I love those. If that doesn't count, okay. If that doesn't count, I'll say Devil May Cry because I really liked the Devil May Cry games. Um, the first one was really good. The second one was great. The third one was all right. And then I recently played like one of the newer ones on PC, and they've just changed the way the game mechanics work, and it's more about getting points and buying. I didn't like it, so the new one I didn't like, but I like the original Devil May Cry. Those are some of the new or series that I liked. I also like Metal Gear Solid, although I've only ever fully played the first Metal Gear Solid all the way through. I played bits and pieces of the other ones. I played Metal Gear Solid VR Missions, but I think Metal Gear Solid is a good series and franchise as well. Desert Strike series, all of them. I've never played any of the Desert Strike games. I think I have or had one on PlayStation at one time, but I can't remember. I can't remember playing it that much. TMNT games are really good. They definitely are. The new Predator for PS5, is that the one where um, one person plays as the Predator and the other people play as like mercenaries or whatever, and you have to shoot um, like you have to survive essentially. So the mercenaries have mission to complete, and then the predator has to unalive all the mercenaries. I think I played that for a little bit on Xbox, and it was really fun. I like games like that. I really like games where you have like maybe 4 people on one team and then one person on another team, and you have to do objectives or be. That's why we were talking about Dead by Daylight a little bit earlier. We're all going to get a team together so we can play some Dead by Daylight. Yep. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that is a lot of fun. We were talking about how playing those games is a lot better if you have people you know. Unfortunately, it's hard to get enough people together where um, you can play a game like that with 5 people. But if you can, it's a lot of fun. I played Marvel Spider-Man 2 not too long ago. Really loved the Insomniac Spider-Man games. Oh yeah, the new Spider-Man games are amazing. I just finished Spider-Man 2 maybe like a month ago. I really liked it. I played the Miles Morales one. The Miles Morales one was good. It was short, but it was good. And then I played the first Spider-Man a while ago, and that one was really good too. Those games are really fun. I feel like those are sometimes you play a game that's like connected to a movie, and you feel it fits with the movie or the character or whatever really well. And that's one of those games that I think fits really well with that character. Um, like, for instance, the Superman game on 64, everyone knows that's a very terrible game. And so, you go see the movies and then you go play the game and you're like, what is this? This is not even remotely close to what I thought a Superman game would be. But really, in the Spider-Man games, I felt like you really felt like Spider-Man. There are a lot of cool characters, a lot of cool gameplay mechanics. So I love swinging around. Yeah, they're all good. I'll boot up some and just swing around, solve random crime. Yeah, that's fun. It does have a lot of replayability too. There's a lot of side missions, and then even if you beat every single side mission, you can still swing around and just fight crime, which is really fun. I think it's hard to say if I like the first one or the second one better. I want to say I like the first one better, but the second one was still good. I just definitely like the gameplay mechanics and all that. So if only they could do that with a Superman game, make a Superman game that works like the Spider-Man game, or a Batman. Well, I guess Batman is another good one. Venom looks so cool in the game. Oh yeah, Venom was cool for sure. I really high quality stuff, definitely. I didn't. Well, I don't want to ruin anything. So you've already mentioned Venom, but we won't go any further than that. But I think I like the first one the best in a story sense. Yeah, yeah, me too. The second one I felt like kept going. I felt like it was in parts. Like you had one part that you completed once you defeat one of the main enemies. I don't want to do any spoilers, but and then I thought the game was over, and then the game started up again. So that was kind of weird. It just seemed to go on very long, and then the final bosses, boss for the last few bosses, I guess you could say, in the second one, I felt just went on forever. And they all had, three forms where you beat them, then you got to beat them again, then you got to beat them again. And it just dragged out the ending a little bit. I think they were really overdoing it. It was definitely hard, but I think they did that on purpose. One of the other games I like a lot, um, that's kind of similar to that maybe are the Batman, the Arkham games, like Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight. Those are all really fun games. Those are pretty similar, where they have the open world that you can go around and do some side quests, um, and you can collect new gear, new stuff. Those are really fun games. I don't know if you played those, but I highly recommend the Arkham games. Could have made it a bit shorter, to be honest, pace it out better. Yeah, definitely. It's not that it was too long. I just think that it was too drawn out at the end. But yeah, yeah, I definitely know what you mean. I like the Arkham games. Yeah, yeah, Arkham games are good. Um, I don't know off the top of my head which one's which, but the Joker character in there is just fabulous. Mark Hamill with the voice and everything, but I want to say he didn't do the voice for the video game actually, but it sounds just like him. They are some very good games. They also came out with that Justice League one recently, and the Justice League one got a lot of hate. I'm not sure why. I personally liked it. I beat it. It was pretty repetitive, but it was fun, especially if you had friends to play with. Huge fan of Batman the Animated Series with Kevin Hart, Mark Hamill was just so awesome. Oh yeah, I was actually just talking to someone about that the other day about how Kevin Conroy is a. Oh, he did actually. Okay, all right. Makes sense. But Kevin Conroy, I know he did the voice. Yeah, he's just such an iconic Batman. And then obviously Mark Hamill is so great as the Joker. So to have them in the game makes it very realistic. The SNES Batman the animated series game is also really good. Do I have that one? Hang on. Let me see. I don't have that one, but I have quite a few Batman games on Sega Genesis. Um, let me see. Is it this one? Is this the version you're talking about? 'Cause I have it on Sega Genesis. So, yeah, I don't know if this is similar or a different game or what, but this is kind of like an anime style game in a way. Yeah, Batman games are really good. The The other like kind of comic book like games that I've never really seen them make a good one is some of the like the Avengers and stuff. Some of the Avengers games aren't really great in my opinion. Same title but very different game. Genesis 1 is like a run and gun game. SNES 1 is a side-scrolling platformer with exploration elements. Okay. Well, I guess I have to get the SNES one then, because I usually if there's a game and it's on two different systems and I have it for one, I don't buy the second one. I just stay with the first one. So um, I'll have to get that one and check it out. Hmm, that's interesting to know. I do love Batman as a character overall. So I think one of my well, not necessarily favorite games, but I do remember the game Batman. I think it was Batman Forever. No, might have been Batman and Robin. It was on PlayStation 1. And I remember playing, that was one of the first PlayStation games I ever had when I was growing up because I was a big Batman fan. And if I remember correctly, that game was terrible. Like it was no good. So some games from that era had the same names on Genesis and SNES, but were entirely different games. Oh, Lion King is a prime example, or Aladdin. Aladdin. I know that Aladdin is a little different on SNES and Genesis. So I think I have Aladdin on Sega Genesis and I have it on Super Nintendo. So I have it for both of those just because I know that it is a little bit different. Another example is Scooby-Doo Mystery on Genesis. It's a point and click. On SES, it's a platformer. Okay, that's interesting. They kind of went way different directions. I think of those two, I would prefer to play the SNES version. The point and click just sounds kind of weird. The platformer sounds like it's a lot more fun. I don't think I have that game. Scooby Doo. I do not have that game. So it's definitely a cool thing. Yeah, I wonder if there's any if you guys are listening and anyone knows any other examples of some games that are different on different consoles, mention them in the comments because I'd be interested to know. So now I know I have to buy another Batman game, and then I gotta get two Scooby-Doo games. They're both decent games. Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know. Is it the same story? Like the gameplay is just different and the story's the same? I love Scooby Doo as a kid. I was a big fan of Scooby Doo as well. I liked watching the Scooby Doo, the shows and stuff, and the cartoons. So I think we're getting around the time. Hopefully, people will start popping in here. Um, almost an hour and 15 minutes now. Um, we got 12 views total. We got three current viewers. So everybody, welcome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Entirely different story. Oh, okay. So it's a entirely different game. I wonder I wonder why companies did that. Do you think it was because they assumed, like for me, I had a Super Nintendo and a Sega Genesis, that they wanted to make more money by just making two different games and giving a reason for kids to ask their parents to buy a Sega Genesis and a Super Nintendo? Like I'm not sure because it was made by the same company and everything. Beavis and Butthead. Genesis was point and click, and SNES. Oh, I didn't know that about the Genesis version. I have the SNES version actually. Oh boy, let's see if I can get this out of here. Man, sometimes these are difficult to get out when I have everything so tight in here. There we go. Yeah, I have the Super Nintendo version of Beavis and Butthead. I don't have the Sega Genesis version though. I'm gonna have to get the Sega Genesis version now. Let me just make sure. I don't think I have it. Oh, that could be. I don't have it. That's cool. I didn't know that. Again, I I'm not sure why I chose one over the other. Batman Return. I knew that. I knew Batman Returns is different. And I think let me see. I have Batman Returns on Sega Genesis. I think. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, I have it on Sega Genesis. Yeah, this is like a platformer for sure. So it seems like a lot of those games were only with Sega Genesis versus Super Nintendo, you know? You don't see like nowadays you don't see a game that comes out for Switch and Xbox and is very different. So I would be interested in the arcade style beat 'em up. I like those a lot better than platformers. So, but yeah, I really wonder why they did that with some games. That's a fun fact. Have to start writing some of these down. So we got Beavis and Butthead, Batman Returns, we got Scooby Doo. Yeah, to make sure I write all this down so I can look into getting those. Because like I said, I would never think about adding them to my collection because I would just think they were the same game I already had. So 12 views, three concurrent viewers. Welcome to the chat, everyone. Just make sure, keep it clean and whatever you want to talk about, games, game recommendations, anything to do with gaming, retro gaming, current gaming. We're happy to talk about anything. It's so interesting. I think it's because the hardware is different between the two. So to get a game to release on the same dates, they just hired two developers to make two games for each system. That's my theory. Are they made by different developers? Hang on. I have Aladdin for both, so I want to see. All right, so Aladdin was made by Capcom on Super Nintendo, made by Virgin Games on Sega Genesis. So very interesting. I think the Aladdin games are very similar, though. I don't think they're that too much different. I think they're both kind of point and click, right? Lion King's probably another one. Lion King was made also by Virgin Games on the Sega Genesis. Oops. Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo. You know what? I don't know if I have Lion King actually. Okay, I do. Oh, that was also made by Virgin. Yeah, Super Nintendo was made by Virgin, or sorry, Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. Lion King was made by Virgin. So that theory doesn't hold up for that one. So if you're watching this and you know the answer to why they're different, feel free to comment below. Both Aladdin games are good platformers. Yeah, they are. It's not like they completely changed the game. So yeah, that's interesting that they were able to both get. That's interesting. Yeah, it is interesting. So Aladdin was made by two different developers, but then the Lion King was made by the same. But I think the Lion King might be this is the same game on both, isn't it? And then I also have Lion King for for GameCube or for Game Gear actually, which was also made by Virgin. So Virgin made all the Lion King games. Well, that's a cool fact. I didn't know that. So, so curious why they did it like that. Yeah, if you find out, let me know. I'd be interested to learn why, or if anyone watching knows why, feel free to put it in the chat below and let us know, because I'm definitely intrigued. I don't have double copies of any other games, so I wouldn't be able to look at it and determine that, but hopefully maybe I can. Maybe I can get another Beavis and Butthead or another Batman, and we'll have to check it out. It's probably gonna stay on here for another 20 to 30 minutes just to see if we get some more people. If not, you know, probably do another one of these in a few days. Like I said, probably late Saturday or Sunday. So I enjoy coming on here and just chatting with you all and talking about games and answering your questions and even sometimes asking you guys questions because it's definitely a learning experience. So make sure you guys like the live if you're here. Helps get more people in here. Helps get more chatting. More chatting gets more people in here. So we're happy to have everybody in here and just talk about some retro gaming stuff. So, oh, now I'm gonna have to go search down a rabbit hole on Google and find out why they did that with these games. I'm sure it's not going to be that easy to find the answer to that question, but I'm trying to do research on why the games were different studios sometimes and sometimes not. Oh yeah, definitely do that research and let us all know what you find because I'm definitely interested in the answer. Aladdin differs and Lion King is the same. It's so strange. Yeah, that is weird. So the company that made both Lion King versions made the Sega Genesis version of Aladdin, and then the Super Nintendo game from Aladdin was made by Capcom. So we got 3 concurrent viewers. Again, thanks everyone for being in here. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate having you all here. Make sure to like the live. Make sure to share it. Make sure to subscribe for podcast episodes if you're interested in learning more about retro game collecting. We have a new episode once a week with people from all over the world. So yeah, let me know what you find for reals, y'all, because I am just as interested in it as you, and I think I need to take some real time to sit down and just look it over. So maybe you'll have an answer for me by the next time I do a live in a few days, or maybe I'll have an answer for you. I don't know. I don't think I'll have a lot of time to look it up, but I'll do what I can. So we're about 5 minutes away from being on here for an hour and a half. I think if we don't get more people in here in the next 5, 10 minutes or so, I might cut it off for now. And like I said, do another one in a few days. There's always so much you can talk about, and especially when there's only a couple people in here, it gets a little repetitive. It's interesting too because Capcom made a lot of Disney games in that era. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know where Virgin came from. That's interesting. I'm not familiar with any other games that they made. Yeah, Capcom. I didn't know Capcom made a lot of the Disney games. So like what? Let's see. What about DuckTales? Who made that? Okay, so yeah, Capcom. Capcom made DuckTales 1 and 2. That's a Disney game. What other Disney games do I have over here? Let's just see any Disney games. Is this, let's see. Oh, Rescue Rangers was Capcom. Yeah, the Rescue Rangers. Oh, Chip and Dale, right? Oh, that is Rescue Rangers. I don't know what other Disney games I might have sitting here. Yeah, but that's true. They did make a lot of Disney games. I wonder how Capcom got the license to Disney, but then not for the Lion King. Interesting. Very interesting. Guys, we got 3 viewers and 12 total views. Thanks again, everybody that tunes in. Again, I love talking to people about games, retro games, just reliving the glory days of old gaming. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you've got any recommendations on games, feel free to let me know. If you have any sort of requests, if you want to know if I have a game or anything like that, any questions, just let me know. Always happy to have more people in here and chat about games. It's a great community. It's a fun learning experience to have all these people come by and to interview these people on my podcast. So if you're interested in seeing the podcasts, new episodes every week, I think I just released episode 18. More episodes to come. There'll be one once a week, every Wednesday. So a new one's going to come out tomorrow. It's going to be all about Zelda. Hopefully, if you're interested in Zelda, you enjoy it. So I personally didn't know a lot about Zelda, so I was happy to talk to someone who did. Virgin made a lot of Disney games after Aladdin came out. Maybe Disney felt like switching over to Virgin. Maybe they liked the results more, or maybe Capcom got busy. Yeah, that could be. Capcom did make a lot of hits for Super Nintendo and Nintendo and Sega. So maybe Capcom was more focused on some of their own games. So then Lion King came out after Aladdin. Is that correct? That sounds correct. I love Zelda. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, definitely a lot of cool Zelda talk. So learned some things I didn't know, and I know very basic Zelda stuff. And I know it's a very popular series, so I kind of just want to talk to somebody and see what all the rage was about. I didn't play many of them, just the Nintendo 64 ones growing up. Lion King came out over a year later after Aladdin. Okay. Well, then I guess what happened was they must have switched for some reason. Capcom didn't make a lot of Disney games after that. So, what are some of the other Virgin games that are Disney games? Because obviously I know Lion King. Um, I don't. I'm trying to think of any other Super Nintendo. Oh, Goof Troop. I have Goof Troop. Who made that? Disney's Goof Troop. Capcom didn't make. Find out when this came out. Disney's Goof Troop because this is made by Capcom. Looks like 92. Jungle Book. That's right. I forgot about Jungle Book. I don't have I don't have Jungle Book. Is Casper Disney? Casper. Casper's not Disney, so that's probably what happened. 1992, 2 years before Lion King. Okay, yeah, so there you go. So it must have been what happened was they either Capcom got too busy with other games or Capcom was not liked by Disney. They didn't like the way they were treating their games, and so they moved on to other things. I feel like Capcom, for me, when I think Capcom, I don't think Disney games. So maybe they kind of changed their focus to do more adult themed games. Because obviously Capcom, makes the Resident Evil games and makes a lot of good games. So maybe they took kind of a darker turn and started making more mature games. and then Disney didn't want to be associated with that. Maybe that's what happened. Virgin also made a Hercules game. Okay, so when did that come out? So that had to come out 1994 or later, right? And that was on Super Nintendo. This is some interesting detective work you're doing for reals. I don't see. I'm trying to look and see if I have any more Disney games. I have Toy Story. So who made? Okay, well, Toy Story is a Disney game. Hercules is on PS1 for 97. Okay, so then yeah, so they must have taken over the Disney license. But then, why do you have things like this Toy Story that's made by Disney Interactive? So like this one wasn't even made by Virgin or Capcom. Just to throw that in the mix, the Toy Story game. Now you're really confused. Yeah, I don't know. Definitely interesting. None of the rest of these are Disney. Yeah, I don't have any other Disney games. So, yeah, somewhere along the lines, they got um, either Capcom was no longer interested in making those games, or Nintendo or Disney was no longer interested in having them make those games for them. So, that's what it sounds like. Traveler's Tales made Toy Story with Disney in 95, and they also made Toy Story 2 game on Dreamcast, PS1, and 64. Okay. But yeah, I mean that's still a Disney game, and it's a different company. Now we got like a third company working on games. Seems Disney went to a bunch of other developers after Capcom didn't. Yeah, so that makes sense. So maybe Capcom stopped making them, and then they went trying to find other developers to make different games to see who would work. And so Traveler's Tales made a couple, and then we got the license for Toy Story maybe, and then Hercules and some of the other ones went to Virgin. Interesting. That's a really cool history lesson that we may or may not be correct about. Again, if you guys are watching or you know in the comments below, just let us know because it'd be interesting to hear the true story. I think it seems like what we're saying makes sense. Yeah, well, it seems to be something like that. I agree. Definitely seems to make sense with what we're saying. So I think that's we're learning something about gaming history. That's fun. Yeah, exactly. I love learning things about gaming history. I love games that have a story. I love learning why things are the way they are, just in life in general. But with games, that's pretty cool too, to know the story behind why things are the way they are. You play these games, and I don't think most people think about that. So that's cool. I think that's a pretty good place to stop the stream too. So we're a little over an hour and a half. We've got 2 viewers. We had 12 total views. Guys, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow the channel for weekly podcasts. Look for me again, probably Saturday, late Saturday, for another one of these streams, or sometime on Sunday. And then the week after that, I won't be doing any because I'll be on call, so it'll be hard to do any. But look forward to seeing you all. Make sure you guys follow on Instagram, uh, TikTok, and YouTube. It's Dr. Gamer Retro on all those. See you later. See you, man. Take care for reals. Thanks for doing all that investigating. All right, everybody.